very warm welcome to all our listeners. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you will enjoy this podcast. Hi, Saurabh. Thank you so much for joining us on Blitz Business. It's good to have you.
Thanks, Ashish. Thanks for inviting. Look forward.
Awesome. Let's get started. So, Saurabh, first thing first. So, university living. ये नाम का सस्पेंस क्या है? पहले तो उसको क्लियर करते हैं थोड़ा. आया कहाँ से नाम?
बहुत ही सिंपल है. I am a UK alum. I studied abroad. I didn't get my housing. I got into this. Before this, I started another company called Unilodgers, and we were in the same space. And then I moved out. So
Mm-hmm.
दोबारा शुरू करना था. One man army, limited resources. So जो एक simple, I am a familiar with simplicity. So I thought एक simple नाम रखते हैं जो जिसको समझाना ना पड़े. So that name come like university living, and I don't know, during that time in around 2015 there are lots of company coming with the urban company, the Bombay shaving, the so I looked at ये अच्छा है. तो
Mm-hmm.
I search for the university living, and उस समय पैसे भी नहीं थे universityLiving.com लेने के. तो जैसे ही द यूनिवर्सिटी लिविंग मिला तो अच्छा लगा, एंड
हाँ.
उसका ना स्टोर में बड़ा अच्छा लगता था. TUL, लाइक
Mm-hmm.
TOI की तरह या TUI की तरह साउंड करता है. तो आई थॉट
Mm-hmm.
हाँ ये ठीक है यार. And but then the moment we start doing well, we got a confirmation of our first round. The first thing
Mm-hmm.
I did, I blocked universityliving.com, and I was fortunate to have universityliving.com, .co.uk, .ai, and all those. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the background about the name.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Simple, straightforward, to the point name. और देन यू मेंशन कि व्हेन यू वर इन यूके तो यूनिवर्सिटी अकोमोडेशन वो बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. मतलब आई आल्सो फेस द सेम थिंग. सो उसका बिफोर वी डाइव इनटू कि व्हाट यू गाइस आर
Hmm.
डूइंग, व्हाट इज
Hmm.
दैट, ये व्हाट इज द रीजन ऑफ दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ चैलेंज? क्यों आता है मतलब?
See, as I just got to know, while I'm talking, I'm also going through your LinkedIn. So, as you studied in University of Oxford in 15, right?
हम्म.
I went to Nottingham in 2011,
हम्म.
right? And I went in January. So, January intake is a small intake in UK. It's like a
ओके.
spring intake.
हम्म.
And didn't know कि I was like, यार घर तो मिल ही जाएगा, इधर मिल ही जाता है घर. It's been 20 years. I hail from Meerut. My
ओके.
hometown is Meerut.
हम्म.
So from Meerut I moved to Delhi, and I
हम्म.
thought जैसे Meerut से दिल्ली आया है तो हॉस्ट क्लास मिल गया. फिर I've been staying like away, till I went UK, or almost I was staying like almost 10 years away, in
हम्म.
in PGs and homestays and all that. I'm like, यार घर तो मिल ही जाता है. आई वेंट नॉटिंघम, एंड आई गॉट टू नो यार ऐसा तो नहीं है. एंड एक तो हम जनवरी में आया तो और भी दिक्कत है, क्योंकि
हम्म.
मोस्टली सारे एकोमोडेशन सितंबर में फुल हो जाता है.
हम्म.
तो देन आई रियलाइज कि बॉस, एक तो अनफ्रेगमेंटेड है, अनऑर्गेनाइज है, प्लस genuinely it's a problem, it's a real problem, you know that's how I came back. I was a banker. I came back.
हम्म.
I joined Kotak Securities and moved to HDFC Bank, and I was a banker, wealth manager, as you call it, you know and but one when I came back, lots of my friends, family started connecting and saying, अच्छा यार तू गया था, तेरे साथ क्या हुआ? So I started mentoring them, or I could say telling them how to go about it. And then one thing led to another, and then it's been 12 years in this industry. uh, Probably assisted few hundred thousand students so far. And
हम्म.
another fun story, even my roommate Mayank Maheshwari, who's a co-founder,
हम्म.
so me and Mayank have stayed together 5 years in a house.
हम्म.
And I would say Gautam Nagar, in a
हम्म.
like I would say बरसाती नहीं बोलूँगा, अच्छा घर था. But
हम्म.
typical DU people, दो लोग रह रहे हैं, दो एक 1+1 रह के. So we've
हम्म.
been we've been we've been we've been roommates. You know.
ओके.
So when I went to UK, he was working. When I came back, he decided to go to UK, and he went to Northampton. And I was like,
ओके.
boss, accommodation book करके जाना. So like, हाँ यार, ये problem पता है. And but unfortunately or fortunately, he ended up with a staying in a homestay, or a very substandard, PG kind of setting, what we call in India. And
हाँ.
he stayed with a cool couple, like old aged couple.
हम्म.
पैसा पूरे दे दिए. और मॉर्निंग में 7 बजे ब्रेकफास्ट लगा देते थे वो. 5 बजे डिनर.
हाँ.
अब इंडियन 7 बजे ब्रेकफास्ट और 5 बजे डिनर कैसे करेगा? सो ही हैड अ टॉयलेट टाइम. And then he came back and he started his career with some fancy companies in research and in HR tech and all. But when I moved out and started again, so I had like, Mayank, we both have gone through the same problem, क्या करें? तो फिर that's how he joined, that's how this came, this this name came in. That's how we realized that it's not a it's not only real problem, it's a actually a very deep problem wherein housing crisis and global warming is
Hmm,
for real, and
true.
it's not getting better. So that's how we got into this.
बट बड़ा डिफिकल्ट रहा होगा सौरभ, मतलब आप दोनों लोग कॉर्पोरेट में थे एंड देन फिर वन फाइन डे आप सोच रहे हो यार प्रॉब्लम है ये है, तो उसको छोड़ना आसान रहा या वो स्विच
Yeah,
कैसा था?
Ashish,
हम्म,
I'm not a person of sharing sob stories. There
हम्म,
is enough sob stories in each startup
हम्म,
ecosystem,
हम्म,
right? I am a product of going with the gut and taking actions, right?
हम्म,
So when I started in Rogers, I moved out. So already 4 साल लगा लिए थे इस space पे,
हम्म,
and then started again. But yes, if I talk about how I started in Rogers and then started university living, that was a that was a journey, and that was something which I would say those were my best of days, because those days I really push myself, learn a lot. बाकी सेम जैसे आपके पता है ना, आपको गैरेज एक रूम, वहाँ पानी आ रहा है
बिल्कुल।
नहीं आ रहा, बिजली, वो सब हम सबने देखा है. एंड देन इंसिडेंट एंड लकली आई गॉट मैरिड इन 2013, एंड
ओ,
शादी भी कर ली. अब कंपनी दोबारा स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ. एक इंडिया में बड़ा अच्छा होता है, जैसे आपकी शादी होती है, इवन यू कम फ्रॉम अ गुड फैमिली, एक ना अपने आप से हो जाता है, अपने आप यू आर नाउ ऑन योर ओन. सो तो एक साल शादी के लिफाफों में अच्छा जिए. Uh, and but fortunate to have a very supportive family as well as wife.
हम्म,
And it was journey, it was I guess, if I you are making me remembering those days, I guess real shaping of university living and myself happened during those 4 5 years.
हम्म, दैट इज ट्रू, दैट इज ट्रू, वो काफी फॉर्मिंग टाइम रहता है. एंड बाय एनी चांस योर वाइफ आल्सो इज पार्ट ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटी लिविंग और नो?
Initially, yes. When you are a one man army, you need people. You know,
यस.
so initially she was with us for like good 2 3 years, and
हाँ,
then when we realized that okay, probably and she again, as I mentioned, been very very blessed and fortunate to have very supportive ecosystem, whether it's parents, wife, co-founder, friends. So due to which managed to stay through those times. So initially 2 3 years, yes, and then we both realized कि यार husband wife at least I don't know, and मैं थोड़ा मुंह फट आदमी हूँ. तो like team के साथ तो फिर भी you try to you know manage
हम्म,
things and be
हम्म,
polite, but
हम्म,
with your families you believe you take for granted, and you're like, yeah, the way you're treating your team you should be treating your wife the same. But
हम्म,
then I realized probably ऐसा नहीं होता.
हम्म,
And she also supported us initially, and now she's very happy. She's a painter and
हम्म.
raising our 3 years old kid. So she's part of the university, but now she's pursuing her own journey.
Okay. There was a interesting couple came to our podcast. I
Hmm.
think 5 10 episodes back. So similar sort of, मतलब story in the sense wife sort of joined in, blah blah blah. Then
Hmm.
उस conversation में question आया कि did you give equity to your wife? तो silence हो गया. So did you so did you give some equity और कुछ compensation क्या रहा फिर वो mechanism
Yeah,
कुछ
I'm the
रहा
working for her.
है?
I'm the working for her.
अच्छा.
On paper she's a
Safest answer
she, no, no, I mean it. On
है.
paper she got more equity than me.
Hmm.
Uh, so technically, she got signing authority.
ओके, ओके, ये भी बढ़िया. कोई लीगल चैलेंजेस में ओके, जोक्स असाइड, देन मूविंग ऑन. तो फिर यू गाइस स्टार्टेड यूनिवर्सिटी लिविंग. सो सौरभ, तो वर्जन 1 यूनिवर्सिटी लिविंग का जब था, उस टाइम आप क्या कर रहे थे और आज की डेट में, इफ यू कैन शेयर द, उस टाइम क्या ऑफरिंग थी और आज आप क्या क्या ऑफर कर रहे
Let me start with the more formal way,
हो?
right, and then I'll add, the real way as well as exactly. So,
सही है.
see, right from day one, we were very clear that we need to create value, right? And if our end users, students are happy, we'll make big. If if they are not happy, then whether you bring tech, content, community, people, it will not be sustainable, right? So keeping that thought intact, that going the extra mile with a smile for our students, probably that's the mantra which we still use. And so we started with you know as a housing as a service. So we started as a listing platform. From listing we moved to a marketplace. Now we call ourselves managed marketplace, right? We started with one category and one destination called Australia, and category called PBSA is purpose built student accommodation. For Indian audience, it's like what Stanja and Oxford Caps or your space is trying to do in India, right? We do it for our international accommodation partners globally, right? Then cut short, in the first 2 3 years we stick with Australia, then we moved to UK as a destination, then we pioneered in Ireland, you know and our main product offering was off campus student housing called at PBSA. These I'm sure you will relate to it because you have studied there. So it's like these are meant for students. PBSA mean purpose built student accommodation, meant for student in vicinity of university, walking distance, all bills included. So it's a I mean, I call it, it's a very value for money accommodation options, or
Mm-hmm.
I call it, it's a better version of university halls, because these are professionally managed, all bills included, no hassles to deal with landlords, and if everything breaks down. So that product we started with, and it started with a premium offerings. Now, then in 2018 we moved from three main countries to US, Canada, and Europe as a destination. And
Mm-hmm.
also, we started with Indian students using our platform. Now we cater to 130 plus nationalities. 70% of our business is non-Indian students. And so we truly are a global student housing managed marketplace now, right? And in 2020, pandemic happened,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to be honest, like others, we were also questioning that if student will not go abroad, why will they need housing, and why will they need platform like us? But probably now we can call that we were smart and we were hindful, that during that time our strategy of not being resisting to just one destination, and
Mm-hmm.
focusing on one sourcing country or nationality, worked well, right? Then when local British students or local Australian students start using our platform, it gives lots of validation that okay, we are actually building something global out of India. you
Mm-hmm.
know and all this while, the focus on student experience, and their journey being the only North Star metrics. Then we not only survive in pandemic, we thrive in pandemic. We grew 3x in pandemic. EBITDA positive, a profit, we are profitable right from day one. And from a service mindset, now we are more product, where we have a web page, app, we have tools like calculate living calculator. We have this AI tool which is student accommodation GPT.ai,
Mm-hmm.
for those students who want to do it themselves, DIY. you know so lots of tools and products we have added. And also, now we define ourselves as a post admission accommodation platform, wherein housing is our core, right? And we do value added services which enhance and enable student experience uh, while they are there and even once they come back. So this is how the journey been, from a service company to a product based company, from a one destination, few sourcing country to probably I mean, you name any country where student like to go to study, we cover them well.
तो ये सौरभ फंडा क्या है, व्हाई एवरीवन वांट्स टू कन्वर्ट फ्रॉम सर्विस टू प्रोडक्ट? सर इसमें पैसा तो अच्छा
यार आप AI वाले हो, आप बताओ इसका आंसर।
है। मैं तो अपने कार्ड्स होल्ड कर रहा हूँ।
नहीं नहीं, I believe we all know it. If we need to scale it up, if we
हम्म,
need to if we need to make it more sustainable, and also standardize the service and product, it's very
हम्म,
important to move from service to a product. But again, I call it very very particularly that uh, tech without human touch is waste,
हम्म,
right? And especially depend upon the product. So we are into a medium to long term accommodation platform, wherein people are not booking for 1 day or 2 day, they are booking for, like, good 40 weeks or a year or 3 years, right? So it's like when I'm buying a BMW, no matter I have technology and great websites, but I still want to have a feel and look and want to drive it out, right?
Hmm.
So that's where we have created a product which is wherein you can, you can search, shortlist, book your accommodation on a platform on your own. But still, when you are booking a high ticket value, you need to speak with you need to speak with someone. You need
True.
to ensure that you have done the verification, you have seen, you have the viewing and all. And that's where with our tech, we have managed to, you know not only integrate VR and AR, even the, I won't say now it's a buzzword, AIML, because
Hmm.
we know it. It's not future, it's not present. It's the only way. If you need to scale, and you need to scale sustainably, and also to provide the best experience any
Hmm.
user can achieve on your platform.
And so, Ismay, what is your business model sort of in terms of you charge a percent, a sort of one-time sort of service fees, one-time commission? How does it work?
Yeah. So again, we kept it simple, right? Like you go to Make My Trip and book
Uh-huh.
your air tickets and hotels, because rather than going to airlines or Air India or Vistara directly and only, you know explore prices and options there. You go to
Hmm.
Make My Trip, or you go to any marketplace to not only compare shortlist but book, but also to expect the extra layer of experience from the experts, right? And then, now, as we call, we are a managed marketplace. So we also have in UK, we have 3,000 rooms which we manage and operate in a lean asset light model, right?
Hmm.
And model is we get paid from our accommodation partners as a marketing solution, because we didn't want to keep it a commission or a per booking kind of thing, because that's very transactional, so we have exclusivity for most of accommodation partners all across globe. We have our own inventory. Then, we also, now it's been like few years in this market, so we understand the data points, and we know the price dynamic part of it, how we are managing inventory through our property management solution, you know so
So,
this is a way wherein we primarily we get paid from accommodation partners. Then we also charge students for concierge service, or someone who's looking for, let's say someone is going to London, or someone is going to Bristol,
hmm.
where people are struggling, or Brisbane, where people are struggling for housing. So we're able to curate them. We have people on the ground, wherein we can make them view the properties. We ensure we do all the verification and curate it, so that no student gets scam, or no student gets something which they have not paid for.
तो
So
हेल्प मी
these,
अंडरस्टैंड
yeah.
सॉर्ट ऑफ लीन एसेट में मतलब क्या हुआ कि बेसिकली आपने उनसे मल्टी ईयर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ले लिया है कि यू विल मैनेज रन द प्रॉपर्टी सो यू हैव टू गिव देम सम अपफ्रंट मनी और हाउ डज इट वर्क?
So yeah, we have it's a mixed bag, right? And again, I will not dodge this answer. I'm sure many will, but the product we have built up, or the model we have built up, it's a mixed bag. Wherein where few where we refer and earn, where few we are managing and operating. There are few where we have taken a multi lease, inventory. So
Okay.
it's a mixed bag. The way we are building up.
Understood, understood, understood. And then sort of moving on, you mentioned कि आप लोग यूके में हो, एज पर वेबसाइट न्यूयॉर्क, एवरी और these places, and you said कि जैसे मेक माई ट्रिप का मॉडल है कि आप वहाँ पे एक्स्ट्रा लेयर ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस विच इज़ एक्सीलेंट, बट एट द सेम टाइम एट अ पर्सनल लेवल जो मैंने रियलाइज किया कि कई बार व्हेन आई एम बुकिंग फ्लाइट्स राइट, तो मैं देखा मेक माई ट्रिप पे ब्ला 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 ये हो रहा है, ठीक है जी, आई सम टाइम आई बुक डायरेक्टली आल्सो, सो हाउ डू यू
Hmm.
सॉर्ट ऑफ अवॉइड दैट सिनेरियो, या वो आपके में आता
Hmm.
ही नहीं है इस टाइप का?
नहीं नहीं बिल्कुल यार बिल्कुल स्टूडेंट्स the I mean in a marketplace their leakage will always be there, where student will come and consume all the content and understanding, then they try to book themselves. But I we have created a model wherein why they have to move themselves or book themselves. We are not charging. The prices are either equal or less than what if you end up book directly.
Hmm.
You're booking for full year, so you want to have a customer service as per your time, culture, and language, right? And then, it's not just one time. Air ticket is one time service. You book it, you use it, and done. Accommodation is, your journey doesn't start just booking. Your journey ends till you are there and come back. There are deposits, payments, service issues. You come back, you have deposits to be get back, and also there's a plethora of services which a
Hmm.
student or parents want to get, and as a layer, as a platform, we are able to provide that.
And
So,
is it,
so we are not.
yeah,
I mean,
please.
if someone is booking through us, they're not paying extra. In fact, at time, we are not a familiar with cashback and discount, but at time, we do run offers wherein if they book early or they book on a particular sales day, we're able to share some our part of revenues with them in terms of coupons and vouchers and other value added services. So I don't see, mostly students don't see value to book directly. And there are a plethora of things. Let's say if students go there and they don't find and like the accommodation, if they book
Uh-huh.
through us, we have so many students, so we're able to replace students. We're able to match make them. We are, and that's where you understand, that's where AI and ML
Correct.
come in picture, where we do
Mhm.
matchmaking, we do buckets, and able to bring like-minded people with same budgets or same eating habits together.
Understood. Understood. No, definitely makes sense. And then, what is the sort of margin you guys operate on?
Great. So again, you've been asking lots of questions which people get uncomfortable. But as I mentioned, I'm a firm believer of building in public and be as transparent and simple. The end of
Hmm.
the day, it's or execution game. So
Hmm.
it's not a high margin game we operate at. It's a more
Okay.
volume games. Unlike admissions and other value chain in overseas, ours is a very volume game. It's not a high margin game. So generally, it varies anywhere from probably 1 to 3% or maximum 2 to 4%.
Okay. So it's volume driven.
Yeah,
And there is the reason I ask, because education is big in India, right? International. Kitna volume jata hai? All the numbers are there. I think 100,000 kitne student
right.
goes. And there are these consultants I got to know recently. They charge a bomb for
Yeah,
providing कि भैया आप किस यूनिवर्सिटी में आपको जाना है, blah blah blah, etc etc. So have you thought, Saurabh, in terms कि यार अब backward थोड़ा चले integrate करें कुछ, मतलब ये services भी दें जिसमें और there is more cream in it or etc.
right. So Ashish, there are different way of been operating in an ecosystem. Our
Hmm.
way is we were always B2C, and we are
Okay.
a multi-destination, multi-nationality platform. So we are global, truly global in nature, where we help students from China, South Asia, Middle East, and whatnot, right? And again, a firm believer of being very sharp and focused on one thing. And within housing, we are very clear that okay, we launched this property management solution. So that's our SaaS, part of our business, wherein we are trying to uh, I would say control supply, and as well as ensure that supply has been taken care, and we are able to give seamless experience to our accommodation partners as well as students. And then
Hmm.
on a value added service, wherein we have air tickets, airport transfer, grantor service, and all. And again, these are all low margin games. Even people have not even tried to give it a attempt, because not only is volume game, but there's also a service part of it. But through our tech, through our product, we have managed to streamline the full journey, and that's why we want to keep our focus on post admission platform, wherein the
Hmm.
moment students know which city, which country they are going, we are able to help them with housing and all the other services they need to have a smooth transition. And then in back 3 years back, we also added B2B version. So we work with all the education partners you're talking to.
Okay.
Universities recommend us. We are on university websites, lots of trade bodies and education bodies support us. So we have positioned ourselves as a one-stop shop post admission. Housing is a core, and anything everything which enhance student experience is what we are into. Never say never, but I don't think in near future or even in long term we'll get into admission part of it.
Got it. Got it. Very laser sharp focus, I must say. Difficult to avoid such temptations.
I mean, again, to its own. There are people who are trying
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
build and own the full value chain.
Correct.
Good luck to them. But probably we believe within this we can go more deeper, and there are so many things to still crack it.
अंडरस्टूड. तो फिर सौरभ, आप लोगों का इसमें कंपटीशन कौन है? मतलब आई एज्यूम इट विल बी टू फोल्ड, एक तो लोकल लेवल पे व्हाटएवर इज, एंड देन इन
Hmm.
ईच टेरिटरी यू आर ऑपरेटिंग. सो डू यू
Hmm.
फेस लॉट ऑफ कंपटीशन, व्हाट्स द लैंडस्केप?
So I would say it's a very interesting space. There were our peer groups, who were heavily funded and raised lots of funds. And even when I was as a part of Unilogers, I was part of that team and we raised funds and all. I didn't align with that way of building that. We raise funds and we burn and we create and all that. But again, to its own. So and then there are local players, as you mentioned, right? And then there are few peer groups. There are a couple of Chinese platform we compete with. But it's a big space, and it's a very operation heavy, and it's a hard. a space to crack. Many have done in the tried to do it even with raise funds, and now with two three of us as a platform, we've been able to probably scale to a level wherein now we are making lots of interest from VC and PE funds to invest. So when I started investing, I was carrying lots of baggages that okay, उस टाइम पे नहीं कर पाए थे तो आप क्यों कर लेंगे, ऐसे हम
mm,
अलग क्या कर रहे हैं जो हम पहले नहीं कर पाए थे. But probably as you mentioned, this focus and that grit and that great team which we managed to build. Not only like pandemic, man. I call my team that we're not inflation proof, pandemic proof. We're also World War III proof. And I have my reasons to share, which probably we can talk offline. But definitely, so good space. But if someone thinking long term, definitely a good space. But someone thinking that we raise funds and we do this and that, uh, I'm not sure if people are able to create value.
understood. And so you mentioned you have raised funds. So what sort of funding you have raised?
Yeah, I will duck this question, but I answer it. But allow me to duck. See, again, I'm not a firm believer of celebrating, fundraising.
Okay.
It's just a milestone. It's a journey, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, in real life, can we go out and say that मैंने इससे उधार लिया? So, in today's startup world, it's when you raise funds, I don't blame anyone. It's an ecosystem. We
Hmm.
want to celebrate glamour and all that, but we have raised funds. We have raised angels, and we have raised pre-series, series A, wherein we've been quite fortunate to have the right capital partners who have managed to allow us to build the way we wanted. So we
Okay.
keep raising funds, but we are not a big believer of announcing and celebrating fundraising.
ये तो फर्स्ट कंपनी आई एम सीइंग आई एम ऑन माय 110th ऑलमोस्ट पॉडकास्ट कि भाई वी डोंट बिलीव. ये भी एक यूनिक पर्सपेक्टिव है. एनी पर्टिकुलर रीजन या यू डोंट वांट टू कम इनटू दैट लाइमलाइट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर कि
Yeah,
भाई.
लाइमलाइट होना चाहिए सही तरीके से. मतलब अगेन आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट सी वी डू अंडरस्टैंड लोगों को नंबर पढ़ना है.
हम्म.
यू आर अ मीडिया प्रोफेशनल एज वेल अ फाउंडर, सो लोगों को
हम्म.
नंबर पढ़ना अच्छा लगता है, लोगों को फंड रेजिंग अच्छा लगता है,
हम्म.
राइट. अनफॉर्चुनेटली पिछले 2 साल से कम ऐसी न्यूज़, राइट. तो हमें सेलिब्रेट ये करना चाहिए ना कि यार पेंडेमिक में कितने लोगों ने लोगों को नहीं निकाला,
ट्रू.
कितने लोगों ने ईसॉप दिया, कितने
ट्रू.
लोगों ने एक्चुअली में नंबर्स करे, कितने लोगों कितने हजार लोगों को स्टूडेंट्स को सेफ एंड सिक्योरली एकोमोडेट किया. ये
हम्म.
सेलिब्रेट होना चाहिए, राइट. जो
हम्म.
हो रहा है, आई गेस वी सी दैट एवरीवन इज नाउ नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट gross booking value and funding. Everyone talking about EBITDA, profits,
हम्म. हम्म.
right metrics being asked, and hence the ecosystem getting more mature. What do you think? Don't you think so?
नो आई एग्री. आई हैव पर्सनली सीन टॉप लाइन की बात होती थी पहले. आप पीपीटी पे उठा सकते थे पैसे, अब आपको बॉटम लाइन दिखानी पड़ती है.
मुश्किल अभी 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 मेहनत वाला काम है अभी.
बहुत मेहनत
बिफोर
लगती है अब तो.
before this podcast, I was like, fortunate to got mentored, and I was just giving back to and mentoring someone.
हम्म.
And यार वो फाउंडर 3 घंटे काम कर रहा है. मैंने कहा यार तू फाउंडर 3 घंटे काम कर रहा है, क्या बात कर रहा है, मेरा टाइम क्यों खराब कर रहा है, right? I'm like, gone are the days when you get funding on PPTs or just models. You need to
बिल्कुल.
prove it. Tractions बोलता
एग्जैक्टली.
है those, and and hence now serious or serial entrepreneur like you are getting into picture, wherein who are trying to build it up, and for them there's no doubt of money. But gone are the days when you on your Ivy leagues and prestigious degrees you're able to raise funds. It's about show us, how you're building, show us.
नो
So
एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू.
definitely.
ट्रैक्शन ट्रैक्शन के नाम पे बहुत कंपनियां बन गई, बट वो नंबर नहीं आया जब तक. तो बिजनेस
And
मॉडल लोगों ने कहा हम बाद में फिगर
traction
आउट
be
करेंगे.
sustainable. Traction be sustainable. Gone are the
एग्जैक्टली.
days, top line on any growth on any cost.
करेक्ट. 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 सो दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ ब्रिंग्स मी. यू मेंशन सौरभ कि ये बड़ा डिफिकल्ट स्पेस है टू क्रैक. सो व्हाट आर दोस टू थ्री आइटम लाइन आइटम जिसमें यू फेल्ट यार ये बड़ा चैलेंज है और इसको हमने क्रैक बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से किया.
यार अभी भी कर रहे हैं,
हम्म.
अभी भी सो कॉल यूनिकॉर्न आईपीओ नहीं आया मेरा. तो we are also working very early stage in our journey, very early years. It just spent 12 years. I
हम्म.
believe more than happy, willingly and happily is able to want to spend another 20 years. And I believe it's an IPO story, and not only India but NASDAQ. It's a big outcome space we are into, and space is a level we have reached. Uh, so I don't have answers to everything,
हम्म.
and but few things we have cracked. I guess how we are managing supply side of it, how we are managed able to get 100 and 1.5 million bets on a platform, how we are
Hmm.
able to accommodate 100,000 students till date, how we have managed different countries and different sourcing markets together.
Hmm.
I guess we have figured out the unit economics. We have figured out the how we can scale without without burning too much or without burning at all, right?
Hmm.
Due to which probably I mean, it's a very interesting time for us. There are lots of interest and space, for us, and I guess for a couple of peer group, which is great.
Hmm.
But still figuring out यार. अभी अभी लास्ट 6-8 महीने से हम लोग बहुत AI कर रहे हैं. पहले हम अभी ऑनेस्ट पहले हम AI ML बोल दिया करते थे. यू नो अब अब वी ऑल नो दैट डेटा इज द ऑयल एंड I mean, without ML you can't do AI, and for without data you can't talk about machine learning. So these are few things which we are working, and it's coming well, and that's why we launched this. I guess globally, we are the first one to launch student component GPT.ai,
Hmm.
right? And bots are still learning. So we are,
Hmm.
I mean, in fact I would love to have your feedback post this show that how we can do better. But as a beta, it came well. We are again launching another couple of AI based platforms and communities. But again, yeah, lots, I mean, every day making mistakes and trying to learn.
Understood. No, definitely. I think this aspect, of chat GPT, uske baad se, many people got very
Hmm.
serious and they have started utilizing different form in fashion. So yeah, interesting to know. And then sort of आप लोगों का फिर अब next 5-10 साल में क्या milestone आप what are you eyeing for, like चलो 5 साल का पूछ लेते हैं कि what are those things you are like,
Sure, sure.
क्या
बहुत
checklist है
सिंपल,
आपकी?
बहुत
हम्म.
सिंपल है यार. Currently, the next milestone, to do 100,000 bookings, by
Okay.
2025. If we do 100,000 bookings, we are a pre-IPO kind of company.
Okay.
And by 2030, we are aim and building to do 1 million or 10 lakh students globally,
Mm-hmm.
right? And whatever we need to achieve there, we are building those tools, those team, those expansion, expanding globally, internally. So that's very clear. 2025, 100,000 bookings. 2030, 1 million student booked through us. And while we
Mm-hmm.
are doing this, again, a couple of North Star metrics. uh, Happy students, happy team, and even we have a brand tag which called stay happy.
Okay. तो ये थोड़ा सॉरी इफ कैन टेल अस कि सिंस यू आर इन द स्पेस आप डेटा तो देख ही रहे हो, कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग ट्रेंड्स, एनीथिंग यू कैन सी, व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, पीपल माइग्रेटिंग फ्रॉम यूके टू समवेयर एल्स और कमिंग टू यूके, ऐसे व्हाट आर सम ट्रेंड्स यू आर सीइंग?
Yeah, very interesting, and after spending 12 years in this industry, one thing is very clear. There were always cyclical change of movements. There were time when I started, there were 12,000 students from India going to UK. This
Oh
number
wow.
stands at 160,000. Till date.
Wow.
When you went in 2015, probably the number was 28,000,
Wow.
right? So that's only one destination.
Hmm.
Australia, in pandemic they were shut for a couple of years. But now they are at record high. Not only from India but globally, there are 1.5 million students who go to Australia for studies. Out of that,
Hmm.
probably 4.5 lakhs students are international students. Rest are local domestic. US, there are 20 million students. Out of that, 1.1 million are international students, right? So when we started, or probably I got into this picture, there were around 3 million international students used to go abroad to study. Now that number is 6.8. In next 2 years, that number gonna be 8 million, and by 2030, that number will be 10 million students globally,
Wow. Wow.
right? So one of the space which is, no, you tell.
Hmm.
You study in Oxford. How many of your friends study abroad?
Almost all.
Almost all. Have you married?
No.
Okay. If you decide to get married and to have children,
Hmm.
uh, we all know likely will be that probably they end up studying abroad. Not
Hmm.
that we are not pro Bharat or India, but the kind of numbers or grades we need in India, or the kind of, I mean, to the current level, there are
mm,
40 million students in India who are into higher education, right?
mm,
Or as a student, do we have so much colleges and universities who can accommodate so many? Hence people will go abroad, and after pandemic everyone want to have a peace of mind, a better standard of living, healthcare, you know. So but good thing which is happening, you know, like you came back, like I came back, people
mm,
are going abroad but they're coming back, which is very
mm,
encouraging for India startup ecosystem and as a India as a brand, you know. So we all know, believe, I believe, you know, mostly we are global citizens,
mm,
right?
mm.
I mean, we are building now. You can build for anywhere from anywhere,
True.
right? And as much as I have lots of Indian friends, I have lots of British, lots of Australian, lots of US friends, and they are like family. You know, they are
Mm.
genuine friends. You know, earlier we used to like ये गोरा है, you know, ये अरे अपना नहीं है, but अभी we all are together, यार.
Uh,
We actually, like, human race is winning.
mm. No, that is true. आई थिंक इतने लोग बाहर गए तो एक वैक्यूम भी बन गया, तो वही अपॉर्चुनिटी वहां पे भी बन गई, तो वो भी है. बट एक ट्रेंड विच इन माय सर्कल आल्सो वी वर डिस्कसिंग काफी टाइम पहले थोड़ा कि इवन इन यूएस मोस्ट ऑफ पीपल आई नो वेंट टू यूएस और यूके. सो उसमें ट्रेंड क्या है कि अंडरग्रेड ले लो आप या मास्टर्स ले लो, वट एवर इट इज, द क्राउड इज predominantly 60-70% इंडियन एंड चाइनीज, यू नो.
Hmm.
So that then it brings the question कि वो क्लास, वो फीलिंग नहीं आती कई बार, एज पर सर्टेन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स, यू नो कि भी यार ऐसा लगा कि हम बस थोड़ा आसपास का चेंज हो गया सराउंडिंग, बट जब क्लास में गए, इवन टीचर कैन स्पीक सम हिंदी, इतना वॉल्यूम उसने हैंडल किया है 5-10 साल में, यू नो सो
तो
वो एक्सपीरियंस भी थोड़ा, आई डोंट नो, इट इज अ डिबेटेबल टॉपिक कि वो डाइल्यूट हो रहा है या हो चुका है, आई
मैं
डोंट नो.
मैं दो तीन फन फैक्ट्स देता हूँ, यू नो. सो वेन एवर इंडियन स्टूडेंट और देयर पेरेंट्स कम टू एंड से यार इंडियन के साथ बुक करा देना, तो ऐसे यार ग्रेटर नोएडा चले जाओ, बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी में रह लो, क्यों भेज रहे हो यूके, राइट? Though I do understand, you know, I always say that if you have known people, it's always help, but don't stick with only five Indians or five South Indians
Hmm,
or five,
hmm,
you know, Punjabis, right? And if I go back to numbers, so 2014 to 2019, or I would say last decade, been led by Chinese mobility, you know, Chinese student
yes,
mobility.
yes. Hmm,
This decade is not only for India but Asia, you know, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, South Asia, Middle East, you know. So this from 2020 till 2030, it will be mostly, I mean, it will be driven by Asia, but within Asia, it will be India subcontinent, Southeast Asia, and probably Middle East, right? And Chinese will be, you know, I mean, they are also, you know, one of the most populous country, you know. So this is one aspect. Second aspect, that's why I put lots of efforts on housing, you know, and it's you gave me a chance to plant my main product, so let me not miss that. So that's why I keep saying that it's not about just academics and best universities. It's about which city you're going, where you're staying, with whom you're staying. You know, I am a product of, you know, my network. You know, I'm a product of, you know, learning from different cultures, and you know, and probably it's just not degrees and academics. Now it's about how much you understand people, from their culture, from their geopolitical aspect, and overall, you know, and
hmm,
that you only learn when you go abroad, or even if you stay, you know, from one city to another. Like I, when I came from Meerut to Delhi, I was like, भाई कहाँ से आ गया मैं? And Meerut is quite, you know, पहले भी Meerut, you know, like, again, no soap story, that choti city and all that. Meerut been quite developed and lots of money out there, lots of exposure. But when you come from Meerut to Delhi, you say wow. When you go to Delhi to Mumbai, you are like okay. Mumbai to, you know, SF or London, then you are like, so. These transition is very important. You know,
hmm,
in fact, I was reading this book by, you know, I am missing the name of the author, but this was on the move करके mobility पे है. And if you see this movement been happening throughout the year, no, पहले लोग एक like mountain वाला sea के पास आता था,
hmm,
sea वाला desert में जाता था,
hmm,
right? So movement हमेशा रहेगी. But coming back to it, to your question, that yes, you know, इनफैक्ट मैं भी कुछ यूट्यूब में वीडियो देख रहा था, कोई 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 इंडक्शन हो रहा था, या कोई यू नो डिग्रीज कन्वेंशन हो रही थी.
hmm.
आई गेस आउट ऑफ 40, 32 पर हर्लीन इन 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 कनाडा. Again, that is one.
I've seen that video. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Like I was like, okay, but things are changing. And then now even students are not shying away to go to Porto, Barcelona, Madrid, with internet and with AI in a hand, people are not shying away to travel to non-English speaking countries. We can see the trends that people are, like lots of students are preferring Spain as a destination, Portugal as a destination, right? Mr. Modi was there. France. We all been reading that is more open to invite more Indian students. So
Hmm.
so now people are also not just going to typical Anglophone countries. They're also going to different non-English speaking countries, and not just sticking with same nationalities or same regional friends. So trend is changing.
तो कोई इसमें सौरभ डेटा है फॉर एग्जांपल कि जैसे आपने बताया 1.6 lakhs किड्स और एडल्ट्स को आउटसाइड टू स्टडी, तो कितना लोग आता है वापस, या मतलब व्हाट इज दैट परसेंटेज जो वहीं रह जाते हैं, एंड व्हाट इज दैट, कुछ डू यू हैव सम रफ
यार
आइडिया
ये
व्हाट?
डेटा नहीं है, ये अच्छा पॉइंट है, अमृत, यू कैन टेक अ नोट ऑफ इट, इट विल बी गुड बिकॉज वी जस्ट लॉन्च अ a very comprehensive report on Australia ecosystem,
हम्म
and we are also building a few other thought leadership white papers. um,
हम्म
Out of my little understanding, and please, I might be wrong, uh, if there are 6.4 million students internationally going, I don't have the number, but if from India, as we mentioned, there are 1.3 million students going abroad. I
हम्म
believe if not more, 50-60% should be coming back. I don't
वाओ,
have numbers. I'm just out of my
गुड, या
sheer intuition.
बिकॉज बिकॉज अगेन वही जो सर्कल है उसमें भी हम जैसे डिस्कशन करते रहते हैं, डोंट हैव डेटा, बहुत छोटा ही सैंपल है हमारा भी,
Hmm.
बट इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि जब मैं यूके में था तब उनके वीजा लॉ बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट थे, राइट? अब
Hmm.
उन्होंने बहुत वो रिलैक्स कर दिए हैं, बट अगेन इट ऑल्सो बॉयज डाउन कि आपका कितनों का एक्चुअली जॉब लगता है। आई नो पर्सनली मैनी हु पेड लेट्स से यूके डिग्री का
Yes.
डबल डिजिट्स में लैक्स में दिया और यहाँ पे गुड़गांव में काम कर रहे हैं या कहीं पे, विच इज the ROI, then they say debate, yaar, what is the point?
Right.
The
Right.
exposure mila, it is good everything, but that difference. So
Right.
there is definitely a discontent, and I have personally seen within extended family members, they are
Hmm.
not able to adjust back when they come back.
Hmm.
If someone has stayed in US for 4 or 5 years, वो एक डिग्री के बाद दूसरी डिग्री ले लेंगे, तीसरी ले लेंगे, it's a trend just to stay
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
So
So,
एक वो other total spectrum है which I'm
hmm.
also not aware कि क्या हो रहा है, but yeah.
Hmm. Why let me try to answer you, and then I would love to hear from you. Why did you choose Oxford? Why not IIT? Why not MIT? Firstly, why outside India, and why Oxford? And then how was your experience, and why did you come back? Before that, coming back to your question. So I keep saying, in fact, yesterday only when I was talking about with my team that, see, there are jobs everywhere, and there are recession everywhere. It's
Hmm.
totally depend about that person. you know if you
True.
are if you are starting your job hunting in last 3 months, you will find tough. If you start from day
Hmm.
one, and you scan your plus minuses, your strength and weaknesses, and build on weaknesses and play on your strength, there are jobs here. you know
True.
like
True. True. Hmm.
there are jobs.
Hmm.
इवन अगर कोई रिसेशन की बात करता है, अगर वी आर गेटिंग पेड लाइक हाफ अ मिलियन सैलरी, देन दे आर लेस ऑप्शंस. बट
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
40-50,000 dollars, there are jobs in India, and there are jobs outside. It's all depend on person to person. So
True.
so that ROI, and also when you are spending education, that ROI should
Hmm.
not be just first job. Because
Hmm.
you are getting prepared for your life. Like,
Hmm.
how can you gauge, talking to some non-English speaking or English speaking person and understand your culture?
Hmm.
Will that fetch you a job directly? Probably not, right? But in your lifespan, will that help you differentiate others? Definitely. So lots
True.
of soft learnings and soft power and understanding which you can't just have a ROI on. But
Hmm.
I'm sure you will relate, and I would love to hear from you.
ये तो रिवर्स पॉडकास्ट हो गया। मेरा तो आई डोंट नो क्या रीजन था, मेरे को माइंड में था बस यही करना है, आई ओनली अप्लाइड देयर, आई गॉट इन, and I didn't have any other option or backup. And after UK, I didn't like UK much, so I
Hmm.
moved to Germany to work. So I then was working in Germany, And then I got bored in German culture. I was like, ये तो नहीं हो पाएगा. So I started my own. बहुत ही strict rules और ये सब था. So मैं थोड़ा बोर होके then I was like अब कुछ ना try करेंगे, and that's pretty much it. मतलब क्यों Oxford I don't know. Maybe Harry Potter बहुत देखा. I have
Mm.
no clue. But yeah,
But where all did you apply?
I
I
didn't
mean,
apply anywhere else.
you only apply Oxford and you got it
Yes, yes.
through.
I went to these consultants जो कह रहे देखो जी आपके जो नंबर हैं और आपका जो
Let's not
एक्सपेक्टेशन
talk.
है,
Let's not talk about them.
हाँ
I
उसने
work
कहा
with
आप
them.
इधर आओ हमारे पास, हम आपको नॉर्थ के यूके में और दिखाते हैं, बहुत बढ़िया बढ़िया है. मैंने कहा ये
नहीं
तो
नहीं
मेरे को
देखो
नाम ही नहीं समझ आ रहा.
I work with them, so I tell everyone again I need to play safe here. Um,
Yeah.
I believe now. I believe I could have studied in LSE or Imperial,
Hmm.
but it was not them. It's me. I was
Hmm.
lazy. I didn't do my research.
हाँ
So
बिल्कुल
so it's
बिल्कुल.
not them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but due to that experience, it helped university living in a way wherein we were clear that we'll create a model wherein we'll not push any student where we get the highest commission. We
So
want to help student where they which is fitting their requirements.
नो नो
Over to you.
द फन फैक्ट इज, जब ये कॉन्वर्सेशन इन कंसल्टेंट के साथ थी, ये लाइक ये मैंने कहा नहीं करना, मेरे को नहीं करना. एंड द लेडी, आई स्टिल रिमेंबर, आई स्टिल हैव हिज हर नंबर एंड वी टॉक टाइम टू टाइम, एंड देन शी वाज लाइक ओह नहीं करना, इट्स फाइन, आई वोंट टेक मनी, आई विल अप्लाई फॉर यू. I was like,
Mm,
okay, done. She was like, you're too ziddy, I'll just do it. Okay, I'll just guide you, because I was very small. I was a small kid. I was like, kaise karna? I don't know
you went to
internet.
undergrad?
I did for my masters, but I
Acha.
applied little early. So I was like, I
Mm,
don't know what to do, blah blah blah.
mm,
She was like, fine, don't worry then. She's like, she just gave up and she's like, I'll apply for you. I'll tell you क्या क्या होता है ये SOP और ये सब चीजें were very new to me. So she was very kind enough, apparently, and she didn't push any other thing. She just said maybe these are relevant based on your marks. I said no. I kept saying no, and she was like, fine, fine, fine. I'll do it only for you. So I was like, very kind of you. So yeah, that's the story.
offline message me that lady name or number. I'm sure we must be working,
Yeah,
and
yeah, they're
and then
top three
and we
company.
discuss why probably they have applied. Because you know I mean if you are an Oxford potential student,
Hmm,
they also need their portfolio and eye candies and vanities.
could be, could be. I was
Right.
just too persistent. I think to get me offer, she's like, fine, 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 I'll do it.
Mm. No, but it pans out well for you.
Yes, yes, no complaints, no complaints. Well, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thanks a ton, Saurabh, for your time. Before we wrap up, anything which we may have missed, anything you want to share, before we wrap up?
No, I guess it was a fun discussion. Thank you for your time and ensuring that it's free flow and there's no agenda and putting pressure on what to talk. And this is actually real me. I like to talk and I like to learn. So taking this ending note, I guess no brilliant time to build or to grow. Not necessarily that you need to build also. I keep telling my team and everyone that not building is also not everyone cup of tea and should not
Hmm,
because it's a very lonely and it's a very different journey but rewarding definitely. If someone is doing for long term definitely, right? And coming back to university living, I guess enjoying this journey every day. I mean, out of blue make getting a chance to speak with you, just got opportunity to go through your LinkedIn and you did amazing. Doing amazing work and part of lots of prestigious things. So I guess that's what I love about university living and building. What we are building, that you tend to meet so many people from so many walks of life and learn from each other, and that's a journey. So I mean, I like to learn the journey, then wait for the destination, because we don't know how long you're in the journey. Until the time you are in journey, keep learning, keep meeting people, and have good fun.
awesome, awesome. Thanks a ton, Saurabh, for being so candid and sharing your mind. I think that those are the best conversation. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ashish.